Okay, hi everybody. Good morning and welcome to the Singapore Urban Bird Forum 2022. We're going to start and thank you for your patience once again. So I would like to invite Ms. Amarasi Bhupal, co-CEO of ACRES, to open the forum. Ambu, please.
Thank you, Jocelyn, and very good morning to everyone. And welcome to this Urban Bird Forum. Let me share my screen. So welcome everyone. This is Singapore's first ever virtual Urban Bird Forum, the first one hosted in 2022, together by SPCA and ACRES together on issues related to urban bird management. So thank you so much to all the panelists and also the participants for spending your Sunday with us on this very important topic. So I just wanted to start with why we organized this forum. Today is day 2, and we'll also share what happened yesterday. Thanks to the Municipal Services Office, MSO, who actually handles quite a bit of resident feedback on urban bird issues as well, who shared this data on the volume of feedback related to pigeons and the trends since 2019. You can tell, you can see thousands of feedback received every quarter and the increasing trend as well. So we were wondering what is the type of feedback that they receive. What does this thousands of feedback mean? And we were surprised and also shocked to see what is the top component of the types of feedback that they received, which is merely just presence of pigeons that were reported. We were not surprised by the other components of the feedback, which is on hygiene or soiling, which is when they defecate on windows, littering, high-rise littering, and also other types of nuisances that were reported on these birds. But merely the sighting of these birds was something that was quite shocking. It also showed us that there is a lot more work that needs to be done on raising awareness itself. So simply sighting the pigeons on windows or in open state land areas or in void decks or in car parks resulted in 49% of those thousands of feedbacks that you just saw. So that showed us the gap in terms of public perception of pigeons. And there was also a need for education in terms of food provision, feeding of birds. So these are some of the news articles that I'm just going to share quickly on how we all can acknowledge that feeding is always a problem with many wild animals, including urban birds as well. So there is a law that prohibits from feeding wild animals. However, it is always a challenge in terms of managing and engaging these feeders. And control of pigeons and other urban birds has also been a challenge for many agencies. And you can see how projects that share solutions to tackle this problem has been receiving attention in terms of awards given by the Municipal Services Office as well. This is data records from ACRES's own rescue figures. On the right is the chart that shows the diversity of protected wild animals whom we have rescued from trouble and the diversity itself. But on the left, you will see the monthly average for the number of crows, pigeons, and mynas whom we rescue from trouble. And most of the majority of them are animals who have suffered in the hands of people who may have taken things in their own hands when they face nuisance with birds. That includes glue traps, putting cable ties on these animals, and often also shows how people care about these animals because we do get poisoned pigeons as well. Poisoning is actually a result of many complaints that the town councils may face, and it's one of the ways that their population is managed in Singapore. So we realize that we have to address the root cause. We need conversations on this topic. And there's been a lot of ongoing efforts. Is culling the only way? But no, there are other efforts that are being taken by different agencies, whether it's science, it's research, or even contraception trials for birds. It is a resource-intensive method, but some pilot studies were done in Singapore by the then ABA on reducing the pigeon population using oral contraceptives. And also for mynas, there have been other non-toxic methods that were trialed as well. There were reasons why they could not be implemented, but this is just to show that this is an important problem and a topic that needs addressing. And also, public have also always been, people like you who care, they have always been sharing concerns on what they would see. This is something that many people wrote to us and also to SPCA, to also agencies on what happens to these birds, what is happening, why are crows being trapped. I think that translates to the behind the scenes part where these animals, there are feedback and complaints about these animals, and these operations may happen in response to that as well. So moving on to what we could all acknowledge today is that it is, this is a challenge and an issue that not a single agency can just go and resolve it. It needs a holistic approach, multi-stakeholder partnerships, and there is no single solution. I think we all can acknowledge that these are some of the solutions. Some of them are very important and they need to be prioritized, including intensive public education campaigns, reduction of food availability, whether direct or indirect, and behavior change from all of us. For example, if we were to return our food tray, are we going to throw the food waste into the bin and then return the tray? Simple changes like this, and ongoing research on populations, behaviors of these animals, their habitats, and also public behavior. And the changes in policy and enforcement also plays an important role. So I believe that at this platform, we all can agree that we need holistic approach, integrated approach, and there is no single solution. And we are glad and grateful that we have a diverse panel of speakers today who have made time to share with us on different aspects of all these solutions. And today, I hope that we can discuss what else can be done, how do we do this, and by who and how often. These are very specifics that we hope to discuss during the after lunch breakout sessions. So this is on a lighter note because every time we have animal-related stakeholder meetings and engagements, there is always this very important stakeholder who is never present in any of these meetings because they can't be present. So I just wanted to share one interesting fact about these three species whom we are going to discuss about. The first one is on rock pigeons. So in this photo, what you see is what's happening is crop feeding. So unlike other birds where you see a parent bird bringing in a worm or an insect to feed the baby bird, pigeons and doves actually feed their young by secreting crop milk, which is a very highly nutritious secretion, milky secretion that they secrete by shedding their own crop layer. So it's very interesting. And as a rehabilitation facility, I can share that it is very challenging to replicate that crop milk formula. So that's how special and unique and adaptable they are. And this photo was taken from Bird Ecology Studies group, which is under NSS, their blog. That blog actually reports and records very interesting behaviors of our urban birds in Singapore. And what you see in this photo is a myna who looks drunk. I think you all may be aware of how wildlife in Africa, they eat the fermented marula fruits and they are drunk in documentaries and videos, but it happens in Singapore too. So this myna had eaten some fermented fallen fruits and was having a mabok moment. And the last photo is of a crow's nest. So this photo also was from a blog from BES group, and some residents there actually reported missing cloth hangers. And guess what? The crows have built a nest with cloth hangers. So we have even, at Acres, we have even observed a nest made by crows which had EZ-Link cards and very old credit cards. So you can imagine how adaptable, intelligent, and crafty they are in terms of facing the challenges that the urban landscape can provide. I just want everyone to take a moment to also appreciate their interesting, quirky behaviors. There's so much that you can observe in our environment just by watching these birds. Hopefully that will also inspire us today to motivate us to discuss on ways that we can coexist with them. So moving on to our Urban Bird Forum's objectives for the 2 days, but to first of all start conversations about urban bird issues in Singapore and hopefully gain respect and understanding to change a perception on these birds. And to explore and discuss humane methods, we could learn from each other, or maybe we are not aware of the ongoing efforts that's already happening in the, in the world or even in Singapore on managing urban bird populations. And lastly, but very importantly, is what we hope to achieve from today's forum is we will be taking notes, we'll be documenting all the feedback and ideas that are coming out of the breakout room sessions. And we will be collating these feedback to communicate with the relevant stakeholders. As mentioned before, this is not a problem that is to be resolved by a single agency. It requires multi-stakeholder engagement. So ACRES and SPCA together, we hope to achieve this, to kickstart the conversations with relevant stakeholders that includes advisors, town councils, property managers, NParks, and other agencies as well. So we'll be following up as a post-forum follow-up, and we hope to share the outcomes in the meanwhile on social media, and also host another forum next year as a follow-up. So I just wanted to share also what we did yesterday. Excuse me. We had a pre-forum workshop with students from tertiary institutions, and it was a fantastic morning with very interesting brainstorming sessions. And there were 5 groups, and they were discussing different topics and how to resolve challenges that we face in terms of managing urban bird populations. So we are very impressed and also thrilled to hear and collate all these ideas. And there is actually a winning group who will be sharing later as well. So we hope to continue this momentum for today. And thank you everyone for being part of this panel, of this event as well, and part of this discussion. So I have something very exciting to share on behalf of ACRES and SPCA. So I would like to invite our very efficient intern, Geraldine, to share about a brand new initiative called Urban Bird Ambassador Team. Thank you.
Sorry, some tech difficulties. Give me a moment. All right, sorry about that. Thanks, Ambu, for the introduction. So today I'm going to give you guys a short briefing on the Urban Bird Investment Program, which is a program initiated by ACRES very recently. So under this program, right, we'll be talking about the 3 main urban birds in Singapore as well. And as Ambu very lovingly introduced, they are the rock pigeons, which the rock pigeons, the house crow, as well as the Javan mynas. Those very, very quirky behavior aside, right? These are some more related like issues that people have with these urban birds in our estate areas. So for the rock pigeon, right, they tend to congregate due to food provisions and they're dropping ledges and other public amenities. And for the house crow, they do have a pretty bad reputation because there's a lot of complaints related to noise, and sometimes they have very swooping or defensive behavior that people might be afraid of. And lastly, we also have the Javan myna, which congregates due to food provisions and are found frequently finishing off food in our eateries because they're very observant and very intelligent animals. So aside from the very, very beautiful and very cute image that Amu paints about the urban birds, which is very true, these are what people in our estate think about them still. So what do people think that we should do about them? As of now, most people think that we should cull these urban birds because they are like a nuisance in our estate. However, right, this culling habits is usually very unsustainable. So as you can see from here, right, when there's a very large population of pigeons, it results, if people believe that poisoning and culling is a solution, it means that there will become more food for the pigeons and less pigeons in the region post-culling because the root problem of feeding the pigeons in the first place, it's unresolved. So because of this, right, there is certain research that shows that there is more that the habit of culling actually results in 30% increase in population of post-culled urban birds because of this sort of short-term measure that does not address the solution. So as urban bird ambassadors, right, what we aim to do is to resolve the root, which is food provision, through mainly education. So let's see the importance of food reduction in the first place. So according to NParks, they did a study during our circuit breaker, which shows that in less than 2 months, the feral pigeon abundance in open food area can actually drop by more than half, right? If we actually allow people to stop feeding them in the first place. So as you can see, right, food provision is actually more effective than culling. And UBA actually resolves this by doing two things. So in UBA, we educate the public against feeding urban birds and also innovate ways to advocate against feeding. And this is a very exciting new program as well because we get to gain experience of on-the-ground advocacy. We learn about science communication by communicating with people of different walks of life and help out urban birds in the most meaningful way possible. So here's an example of what we did. So a few of us interns and volunteers actually did participate in a piloting of the urban bird ambassadors. And here are some observations that we've made. So overall, the experience was really, really meaningful because we got to talk to a lot of elderly and a lot of them are very friendly, very boisterous, and they get really grateful for the kind of knowledge that we impart, that we sort of share under the UBA. However, we still see like some pigeons congregating here. So we were joking among us that like the pigeons here look a bit like the Avengers. But that's quite worrying because there's a lot of them. And usually this was because right underneath them, we saw a group of family feeding the pigeons. Unfortunately, in some of these circumstances, we can't really approach them because they do not want to talk to us. But through approaching an elderly member of their family, aside from them, we actually got to teach the family not to feed the birds. So in this way, we actually felt our efforts significantly impact like the pigeon population in that area because one family learned not to feed them. Another very, very heartening thing is that over the course of the years, we start to realize that more town councils actually start to put up education posters like that on the left to teach people not to feed the birds. So with more effort from the UBA, more encouragement of the public and engagement with town councils, we would hope to help to reduce the pigeon and other urban birds population in a very sustainable and very humane manner. So if you guys are interested in joining the Urban Bird Ambassadors, you can join us by clicking on the link below or scanning the QR code, and we hope to see you there. Yeah. If you have any other questions about the Urban Bird Ambassadors, feel free to ping it in the chat and we will get to you as well.
Okay, thank you very much, Angu and Geraldine, for that introduction to the forum and to the Urban Bird Ambassador Volunteer Program that ACRES is launching. So do support us if you are keen to help more with urban birds. Look out for more information on Acre social media in the coming months.